But you've got something that you want to share with us first, right?
Yeah, Ricky, I get a lot of email about how I bind my quilts. And frankly, in the olden days, I did it quite differently than this. But now I'm really sold on this technique.
And it's a fairly standard technique.
Yes, it is.
But I think that the finishing of a quilt is actually one of the most important things. So show us what you do,
Exactly.
Alex.
Well, first of all, I cut my strip at 2 1/8. That's just what I do. I want a small binding, all right?
Now, but is it folded?
Well, yes, but we aren't there yet, okay?
Okay, well, I like to get ahead of the game.
I know. Well, first of all, let's say you've got a huge gigano quilt and you've got a piece you're binding, right?
Right.
Okay, so what I do is I take one piece like this, the other piece like this, and I make it at a 90-degree.
Right.
All right, and then I simply sew across here.
On the 45-degree angle.
Exactly, and you know what? I don't agonize over it.
Those are right sides together.
Yes.
And the tail of the other one is coming down towards you.
Exactly.
All right.
And then what I'll do is I'll trim this, press it, and then I've got a nice little miter, okay?
Right, so that you get your length.
Exactly.
Now, how long will your binding be?
Well, it depends how big your quilt is. I'll probably measure all 4 sides and add another 20 inches.
Okay, because you want extra.
Exactly.
Okay.
So this is my beautiful quilt placemat sample that I've done.
It's lovely. The fabrics especially.
Well, thank you, Ricky
You're
Timms.
welcome. They're your fabrics, aren't
Yes,
they?
they are. So anyways, I've done a few corners, but what I'd like to show people is how I do a mitered corner quite easily.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to get Erin in here. Why don't you come over my shoulder, Erin?
Yeah, you can come right on around.
Yes.
This is all very detail oriented, so we want to show it as best we can.
So what I'm going to do,
Are you using a 1/4 inch seam?
1/4 inch seam, love my 1/4 inch foot. And you can see down here is the end of the quilt, or the corner, right?
Right.
I'm going to sew 1/4 up to that, and then I'm going to stop. And you know what?
You're stopping a 1/4 inch from the edge.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
And then I'm going to back stitch.
Okay.
Okay, then I'm going to pull it out from under the presser foot.
Do you cut your threads at this point?
No.
Wow.
This is why I probably don't win ribbons like you.
No, but I mean, if it works, it works.
I'm going to fold this back, fold it forward.
I want you to do that one more time.
I'm going to do it on the next corner.
Oh, okay, you're going to do
I'm
the whole
one
other corner.
ahead of you, all the way from the edge. Oh, I hate that when that happens.
Yeah, it just got
Yeah.
bunched up a bit.
You know, I think people always like it when they see it happens to a trained professional.
But the truth of the matter is, I always tell students that we do our worst work in front of the students, you know, because we're always in a hurry to get things done.
And some people like to use a walking foot, and that's fine too. Just adjust your needle so that it's a 1/4 inch.
So you stop a 1/4 inch from the edge?
And actually on your little foot, if you have a Bernina foot, you've got a 1/4 inch marking right there. So I'm going to take that up to the edge, stop,
And
back stitch. And if your machine takes an extra stitch, you want to plan ahead. So I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to,
Okay, do that slowly now. You're going to fold that up, 45-degree angle.
and then I'm going to fold it like that,
All right. And where do you start stitching? Right at the
all
edge?
the way at the edge.
Okay.
And then I'm going to come down, and at about 6 inches or 8 to 10, 12 inches away, I'm going to stop.
Right, because this is really the critical part. I think
Right.
most people are familiar with doing this sort of French fold corner binding, but it's the way you attach these right here that's really going to make this.
Now I'm going to ask you a favor if you grab my ruler from my box there. Okay?
Uh-oh. I was already told not to touch this
I
box.
know, my penalty of death.
All right.
Anyways, so what you're going to do is you've got this overlap here, all right? And the trick is you measure how wide this is, which I said was 2 1/8. And you're going to overlap, and you're going to cut with a 2 1/8 overlap, all right? So look at me shaking.
Well, this is really scary.
Well, it's critical, I'll tell you right
All
now.
right, so this is where you measure.
I'm going to come here. There's your 2
1,
1/8.
2 1/8.
Okay.
And then you cut the other tail. Let me
Here,
hold that
hold
up
that
for
for
you.
you, yeah.
So you can have 3 hands.
Yeah, thanks. And then, this is the part I really want to make sure everybody sees. I open it up. I'll get this down for you, Erin.
Okay, and just take your time here.
I'm
'cause I
going
want
to
this be right.
overlap this like this, again, at a 90-degree, correct?
Right.
Like that. And then what I'm going to do, and I kind of have to finesse it, and the truth of it is if it were a bigger quilt, I'd probably leave about 18 inches open.
Oh, between the stitching that's already sewn down.
Can you
so
put down the thing for me, the presser foot?
I can.
I'm missing my knee lift.
Yep.
And then I'm going to sew diagonally, corner to corner. And I think I need to be on there a little bit more. I have to tell you, I'm lost without my knee lift, the freehand system.
Well, standing up here, it doesn't
Yeah.
work, so.
all the way to the edge. And then what happens is,
Oh, you got to cut that.
I will, but I'm going to open it up, and there you go. But I am going to trim that off once that I see it's right. I got a nasty little tuck in there. I would re-sew it, but not for today.
But that really, to make it fit together and finish off so
Like
that
there.
you've got
And
a
then
diagonal
go,
seam.
And then sew again like that. And then you just flip it over, hand stitch it down, and when you get to the corner, you'll have this nice little miter that goes like that. And if you want, you can even stitch that in right there if you want it perfectly
seamed up.
Yeah.
But that's great. So you don't have a butted seam
Right.
in one place
Right.
and you've got all these diagonals everywhere
Right.
else. That is an absolute
And
wonder.
never mind the tuck, okay? You didn't see that.
But I got the idea and I didn't know that. So you taught me something.
Cool.
There you go.